I have identity issues because like my dad's from Argentina.
Okay.
Half of my family growing up is from South America. I don't want to ever seem in any capacity like I'm trying to be something I'm not, but I feel like I'm in flux all the time. And so this is a really clunky way for me to also ask, like, do you prefer like Latinx, Latin, Latina, Hispanic? Like how?
It's tricky. I think we all have identity issues.
Yeah.
I do not like Hispanic.
Yep.
That doesn't resonate with me.
Yeah.
I've been kind of like shifting. For a while, it was like Latinx. And I think recently I've just leaned more with mestiza because of I think that is what most encompasses my lineage. And that's sort of like a word that just sort of means like divided in half or of two things. So that's felt more comfortable.
Right.
But it might change next week. I don't know.
Right. What do you think? And not that like you ever have to be also like the spokesperson or anything.
Yeah. Well, I went to a really interesting exhibit that talked about where all the different terms came from. And it was really interesting to see like how important the Chicano term was, like during the 60s and just sort of the evolution of how we identify, like the brief period when it was like Latinx, but then it didn't really stick. So anyway, I was really fascinated by that and how I guess some people can feel more connected and other people, like you said, I don't identify with this word, you know. I think growing up, I used to say I'm a Mexi Jew. I'm pretty sure that's how that's a very specific identity, but that felt more accurate to me than just saying I'm Latina. But a lot of times now, you know, if people are guessing or whatever, it's in conversation, they'll be like, are you Latina? And I'm like, yeah, I guess I am. And then they, of course, months later are like, I didn't know you were Jewish. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you can be more than one thing. It's amazing.
Crazy. I know. It's crazy. For me, like I always felt like I didn't fit in and I did fit in, like at the same time, because I feel like so many backgrounds have, like it is not one box, and a lot of countries have, like Argentina is of course known, I think in like South America, people are like, oh, it's mad white over there, you know what, so I grew up in New York, but
I was waiting for you to say it. I wasn't gonna call it out.
Right, so you have that, and I know for me also, like, just not to sound, I'm so conscious how it's gonna sound, but like I hear Spanish, I'm like, like home, you know what I mean? And I know that again, like Argentina has so my family lived in Argentina, Bolivia, Chile, Colombia. And they like a part of that was brought. I don't feel like I remember growing up and I was like, well, how many generations do you need to have in a place to be from a place? Because I didn't feel a connection to my grandparents' places. And it like, I don't know, I think of like my father like ate that red meat from Argentina. That like, there was so much of like the rhythm in our household. And then my parents being from different countries, those countries do not consider me that. I'm considered American. But in America, growing up in New York, I was always like, someone would be like, I have a cousin that looks like you. Like whatever group is, someone would be like, I have a light-skinned cousin who looks like you. I'll be like, okay. So I felt everything and nothing at the same time.
Yeah, that's similar for me because I wasn't born here. I was born in Mexico. So like for me, Chicana is like a complicated term. I don't think that I can really like ground myself in that. But it's the same thing. When I'm here, I'm not really technically American, even if I'm a naturalized citizen. And in Mexico, I'm not really Mexican because I don't have, well, I have a dual nationality, but it doesn't, you know.
Dang.
It's like, I know, like, and then I'm Jewish, and then that just throws a whole nother mix into things.
Did you all, like, culturally growing up? I know, for instance, I went to a Jewish Sunday school and I felt very connected to my Judaism, and I had a bat mitzvah, like a non-traditional secular bat mitzvah. And then I went to Mexico and I had my quinceañera with all my chambelanes and my familia, you know what I mean? And so that, I think having those two big sort of cultural traditions really helped me feel that I fit in both places. But then, yes, like here in America, though, people are like, don't know what to do with you. What are you? Too many things. And it's too weird for us. So I don't know.
For me, like right now, and I think it could even be how I style myself, how I look, when I'm not far from being a teenager now. People would think, depending on where I am and if I have a tan or not, people will think, and maybe how I'm styled, that I'm one thing or another, and they'll be very sure about it. And I don't, some exactly how I can't even come up with the words. It just feels uncomfortable. But at the same time, like, I felt very New York growing up. I feel like New York is such a melting pot. I feel like New York actually, like, that whole ism, it's, you hear one language at home, a different language at school, your foods are different, everybody's different, we all hang out, we all wear Nikes. But there's something, when I heard that there's like a Jewish, like, Latin community, I'm like, where? Where? Like, maybe there's I always wanted to be more involved, and I'm like, where do I go?
I converted, so I didn't grow up Jewish.
Okay.
But I converted when I was 20. And so that has been interesting to navigate because I don't have those roots. Yeah. Even though I had close family friends actually who were Jewish, so I sort of grew up tangentially with it. But then I married an African American Jew, so everything gets extra confusing. Yeah. Yeah, but there is a Latin, like, I mean, I think they're Latinx, or I don't know. I feel like in LA, a lot of folks refer to themselves as Latin Jews. But
I haven't met. It's really nice to meet you. Like, I haven't met. I feel like there's like, I think maybe and I'm like, I don't know. Do I qualify? And it's funny. Like, we have a mutual friend. He'll be like, "You're Latina." Like, he'll like say he's like, "You're," so all this stuff. But I'm like, do I qualify? Like, my Spanish is not that good, but I'm like, I think it's sometimes that intersectionality is where I feel at home. Also, I'm not trying to claim anyone's experience. Yours is different from mine. Yours is different. So it's like, is there anything that you feel has been like now? And here's the thing, like Latin America, like, there's Central America, South America, Caribbean. There's so many different places, and then within each place, there's so many different cultures. So I'm like, that's also a whole thing to just group. I don't want to erase any culture. That said, for like your Latin, that's like, for me, I didn't grow up saying that. Yeah. For your Latin Jewish experience, is there anything that you feel is like, this is where it is? Like, for me, like, my dad, I didn't know growing up that I was having certain food that was like Argentinian or, but I felt like, oh, chimichurri, oh, dulce de leche, like, and it would like make its way maybe to a Jewish holiday or Shabbat table. I'm like, that's what feels right. Or, yeah, I don't know. Is there anything that feels like that intersection for you?
the churros.
The churros.
And potato tacos. Churros and potato tacos.
Potato taco, like a taco with potato in it.
It's like a fried potato taco.
They're so good.
I have one.
But like, just anything fried is an excuse, I think, around like Hanukkah especially. But we do potato tacos and churros.
Oh my gosh. I have a question that's so personal, so feel free to not answer it.
Yeah.
How did you know when, you converted to Judaism, but it must mean that you are Jewish, that you felt Jewish, and you, like, what was your conversion experience like? No.
Well, I grew up, so when my parents came over here, my mom was a nanny for a woman who actually converted to Christianity, but she was Jewish. So like, I took her spot. But her mother was sort of like my pseudo grandma. So if there was like grandma day, because my grandparents were in Mexico, so if it was like grandparents day, she would go, and we were just really close. And so I think just culturally, like, there was like noodle kugel in my life from a young age. And then when I went to college, I had to take a religious course for my anthropology degree, and I took this like intro to Judaism class, and I was like, wait, this sounds familiar to what I've been, like, I don't know, surrounded by. And so I just went up to the professor after, and I was like, if I wanted to do this, what were the steps? And to his credit, he was like, come to my office and we'll talk. And that was it.
That's crazy. I did an intro to Judaism course in college, and it gave me the biggest crisis of religion. The biggest crisis. Is there anything that you feel like, I don't know, gets like asked of you, or anything with the, being Latina and Jewish that you're like, oh, please don't? Or like, how can people, like create spaces where you feel more comfortable, or is there anything that you hear where it's like, oh,
Well, I don't know, that's such an amazing conversion like experience. And it made me think about how, growing up going to that secular Sunday school, we were learning about our culture, our traditions, our history. It was non-religious, completely secular. And my dad would come to everything. And I was like, oh, my dad's Jewish. Like, he grew up Catholic in Mexico, and he was no longer Catholic. But I thought he was Jewish because he had the same values as my Jewish mom. So I was like, oh, we're all Jewish. And it took me a really long time to realize that he was not Jewish at all. But I think that's so interesting because I feel always very like shy about language. Like when we do the prayers, even for Shabbat, I'll be like, oh, I don't remember the end of this prayer. And I'll just get like really quiet. And same with my Spanish. Like I'll be saying something and I'll be like, oh, now I speak Spanglish. And, so I think that's something that for me, I really identify language with where I come from. So when I'm in a situation where I don't have the right language or I can't totally fit in, I feel embarrassed. And I wish I didn't feel that way. Like I wish I could just go take a class somewhere and be like, I have learned all the prayers. I'm set forever. This will never happen again. Which you probably, as a converted Jew, like you probably know more than I do, even though I grew up hearing it, I just never like quite stuck. And so I guess those are the places where but that's like a
that's so real.
questioning thing.
Well, I have like the most like Israeli name, and I would love to learn Hebrew. I don't speak Hebrew, so I like disappoint people all the time when I'm like, I'm sorry. And then with Spanish, like I don't speak that well, but when I was studying for my bat mitzvah, I learned that I spoke Hebrew with an Argentinian accent, and I've been trying so hard to like unroll my. I'm like, rah, rah, rah. I still am in my car. I'm like, rah, rah, like, just trying to switch my R's over, but I was told I had a strong Argentinian, but I don't even have an Argentinian accent in Spanish.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess for me, it's different being in Southern California. And I think growing up as a Mexican American and my family looking like what it does, there isn't too many, like I haven't found too many spaces where we can comfortably walk in and people not be like, are you visiting or are you friends of the whoever? And then us have to be like, no, we know. Or like when people are like, it's going to be 3 hours. I'm like, yes, we know. We'll be here until noon. So yeah, I mean, it's just been finding sort of like our own community and sort of mixing. I think it's really interesting though, because my husband also grew up atheist socialist Jew. So it's like his grandparents were like complete atheists. Did not do any like blessings during any of the holidays.
Where did he grow up?
Los Angeles.
Where did he go? Like, did he have a community where they were atheist, secular? Because it sounds like Sholem.
So, well, they didn't have, I mean, I don't know if they had a community, but like his dad was in the Kinderschule and it was like that whole movement where they were very, very culturally Jewish, but didn't do any sort of like prayers or anything. So then when we got together, me having converted and knowing all of these things, he was like, what are you talking about? There's like, for Hanukkah especially, it's like we say blessings when we light the candles. And I was like, yes. There's 3.
Oh my God.
And so it's been really interesting to also find like a place that sort of speaks to all of our varying identities, like even within Judaism, because we're all sort of on the spectrum in that way.
Oh, Bill, thank you for sharing. No, let's take a churro.
Are we gonna eat churros?
Are we eating churros?
Yeah, we're gonna take it.
Yeah, we are.
And it being Hanukkah, which now I want to call Chanukah, because I did a YouTube video. Oh my God. It's about bringing light to the darkness, and the thing is that like the Jewish diaspora is so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Like it is the diversity of it. It is not everyone looking the same or anything like that. And I'm just so happy for us to be here together bringing churro. So yes. I guess just salud.
Salud.
So how do we bridge our multiple identities, our intersections?
mosaic, or melting pot.
Ooh. Well, what does it look like? Because I know a lot of us have, different identities. We all have a tie to Judaism. We're Jewish.
Jewish.
Right? So what could that look like? And if there's no answer, maybe there's no one answer, what could we build? What could we build up as a possibility or possibilities?
I mean, we're all here and we're all celebrating Hanukkah, so that is the huge intersectionality among all of us, but it's what we all bring to the holidays that make it so exciting.
You were telling us earlier about how you make latkes on Hanukkah.
Yes. Okay, so in El Salvador, plantains grow in abundance. And of course, our tradition is to have lots of oily food. So if you fry some plátanos, but you make them the latke way, you can like shave them down. Plátano, latkes, and you put some guacamole on top. You can, if you want to like bring in your Ashkenazi goodness, you can throw some sour cream on there, but it is so good. And I love having the tropical flavors with all the oil, with coconut oil, of course. It's the best way.
That honestly sounds way better than potato.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love potatoes.
I love potatoes too, but more fried foods.
The more fried, the better. And when I got to celebrate Hanukkah with the community there a couple years ago, they have these really sweet, yummy empanadas. Not like Argentinian empanadas, but they're like sweet with like custard inside. I was like, okay, y'all are doing Hanukkah right.
So there's food, like what else? And then like food is maybe everything. Is there anything
Oh,
else?
food is everything.
Yeah. Is it who we have at the table? Is it the food we're bringing in? Is it the stories we tell?
Stories. I need stories of hope. And also, yeah, of course, stories of darkness too, because like it's nice to commiserate, You're not alone in your misery. I find for some reason every year around fall leading into winter, I'm struggling with some aspect of my life. Some challenge is always very present to me. And so whenever I light the Hanukkah candles, I'm like, well, this feels joyful. And so I love hearing stories about hope and joy.
It's also that when you light the candles, the flame is very cleansing. And we do it for 8 days. And so it's like we're just fully getting cleansed.
Totally.
Do we combine our tables? Like, is that, I know it's so family oriented, but is that a possibility or because I wonder, it's like when you hear, oh, I do this, oh, you do that, like suddenly it's, oh, everyone's not the same. And does that help sometimes capture people who are in the middle or,
Well, I think that's one of the really great things about Judaism is that we are all so different, and family isn't just who you call family. It's not just your blood, it's who you choose. So since there's 8 days, you can do 8 days of different things.
Ocho candelicas? Should we wrap?
Oh my goodness, yes.
Should we
Ocho candelicas.
Okay, it's not a Jewish holiday if there's no music also. So we have to sing. Yeah.
Okay, so this is a Ladino song.
Yeah.
A Ladino song?
It's Ladino, okay, and this is how we celebrate Ocho Candelicas, the
Ladino.
8 nights Ladino, all right? But we need everyone's voice.
I don't know the lyrics.
Well, we're gonna hum. If you don't know it, let your soul shine with humming and snapping and shaking, whatever you want, okay? All right.
Vamos.
Oh, Hanukkah linda está aquí. Ocho candelas para mí. Let's do that again. Hanukkah linda está aquí. Ocho candelas para mí. Oh, una candelica, dos candelicas, tres candelicas, cuatro candelicas, cinco candelicas, seis candelicas, siete candelicas, ocho candelas para mí. Woo! It's a little Spanish Ladino fusion, but we got it.
I was just starting in Spanish.
Mix your Hebrew, mix your Spanish, make it a thing.
But we all have that. We all have that in our tradition. And I think one of the most beautiful things that we just embrace right now is the Brazilians and the hope that shines through the light, that comes through the food. And like, it just brings us all together year after year, light in the dark.
Hanukkah linda está aquí, ocho candelas para mí.